The Bethesda and Xbox Summer Showcase is just a few weeks away now, and just like every year, several very interesting leaks, both new and old, have risen up, and these may very well be giving us some color on what we could actually see at the showcase. Like this nameless, faceless 4chan leak that claims a Fallout 3 remaster is coming in October of 2024, with Fable and Perfect Dark dropping in 2025, and apparently even a trailer for Kojima's new game Overdose featuring Kyle MacLachlan from the Fallout TV show, and more. So of course, it wouldn't be leak season without a 4chan leak like this, but I think the topic of Fallout at this year's Summer Showcase could actually make quite a bit of sense, with a new game announcement being more likely than ever. But what's that noise? Oh, that's just a fire alarm because I suck at cooking, or at least I did before I got today's video sponsor, HelloFresh. Cooking actually becomes way easier when you get easy to follow instructions, all of the ingredients nicely pre-portioned for you, and all of this just showing up to your front door in a nice package. You don't even have to grocery shop anymore. I made this meal in literally 15 minutes, which is pretty impressive for me. Because yes, HelloFresh has over 45 meals you can pick from each week, and since I'm lazy, I normally opt for the quick yet still very tasty 20-minute recipe options, and HelloFresh genuinely helps me save money. I was eating out because I didn't know what to cook, but now I have everything I need, and all of these obscure ingredients are only the amount I will actually use, so I'm gonna have far less waste. Summer is fast approaching, and HelloFresh has genuinely helped me hit some fitness goals thanks to their protein smart options. But let's also enjoy our meals. If you click my link in the video description or use my code, you'll get 10 free meals plus free dessert for life while your subscription is active. But looking back at the showcase leaks, a few weeks ago, Jez Corden, who is one of the most reputable Xbox insiders, said that he heard Xbox wants the next Fallout game out even sooner. This following the success of the Fallout TV show. And the developer behind this new Fallout game may not even be Bethesda Game Studios.
They're currently formulating plans on how to get the next Fallout here for us sooner rather than later. I'm suggesting someone else is going to build Fallout.
Someone else. And of course, this just makes sense. The Fallout TV show was massive, and yeah, tons of people flocked back to Fallout 76 and even Fallout 4, but the real way Bethesda makes serious money from the Fallout TV show is having a game of their own to sell. Otherwise, they're likely just getting that flat licensing fee, and this leak from Jez Corden ended up aging incredibly well. Just 3 days later, on the Kinda Funny Gamescast, Todd Howard said Bethesda is focusing on making sure the games maintain their quality, but also finding ways to increase their output, as Bethesda doesn't want to wait that long either. And during this, he may have even confirmed 2 new Fallout games already in production.
What are we doing on mobile? What are we doing in 76? What are we doing with this thing? What are we doing with this other thing? and when are these landing?
There, he was laying out the runway for Fallout as a franchise. So many fans think that as he says this thing and this other thing, he is in fact talking about 2 new Fallout projects that are on the way. And one of these definitely could be a Fallout 3 remaster, which even beyond this dodgy 4chan leak, we did get a far more credible leak from Microsoft themselves late last year, as this Bethesda roadmap was published during the FTC case and of course has a Fallout 3 remaster labeled on it. This roadmap was made by Bethesda in 2020, so it very likely could be outdated, but as you'll start to see, a lot of this roadmap does hold up. It has a Fallout 3 remaster slated as a fiscal year 2024 release, and of course it right now is 2024, although the vast majority of games listed on here did get some kind of delay due to the pandemic. We of course just saw how Microsoft shut down several Bethesda studios. This leaked to the public via a memo, and the core justification for the closures on that memo was, we're making these tough decisions to create capacity to increase investment in other parts of our portfolio and focus on our priority games. And when it comes to priority games, not much is going to top Fallout right now. Fallout 4 is almost 9 years old, but still one of the most played games on both Xbox and Steam right now, and Fallout 76 isn't even that far behind it. So we're hearing how both Xbox and Bethesda want a Fallout game out faster, and even Obsidian has been saying that they are more than happy to work on a new one. So when we look back at this Todd Howard quote, it seems completely plausible to me that one of the games mentioned here is a Fallout 3 remaster, while a second game could be a spin-off game that's being worked on by Obsidian as they finalize production on Avowed and they look to move that team elsewhere. I mean, based off these leaks, literally everyone wants more Fallout. Todd Howard does, Bethesda does, we do, and even Xbox does. But sadly, this doesn't mean we'll be seeing more of it at the showcase, and it definitely doesn't mean it'll be coming out this year. One of the big issues I have with this leak beyond, 4chan, is the remaster coming out in late 2024. October is specifically what it says. I think this overarching negative sentiment around Xbox as a result of some of the recent closures as well as other news makes a Fallout announcement at the showcase a lot more likely. If you announce Fallout, even if it's just a title reveal with a developer, you'll get a ton of fans incredibly excited for the future of Xbox. But based off this recent Jez Corden report, it's only just in the last few months or so that Xbox has been looking to get Fallout games out quicker, which makes me think that they weren't doing that already, and in turn, I kinda doubt a new Fallout game will drop this year. Although, something that could be wound up relatively quickly is Fallout 4 Creations, paid mods for Fallout 4. Bethesda just added this system to Skyrim, and it's coming to Starfield right around the same time as the showcase. But their most popular game right now doesn't have it for some reason, as well as whatever Fallout 76 DLC is dropping later this year will almost certainly be present at the showcase. So either way, things are definitely moving with Fallout, and I wouldn't be shocked if at the showcase we see a high-level tease of something. It could be as simple as this Elder Scrolls 6 teaser though, except for a Fallout spin-off or even a Fallout 5. Although, maybe this leak is real. In the past couple of days, several insiders have come forward to suggest an older Xbox JRPG could get a remaster reveal at the showcase. Shepshaw Nick took to Twitter to say, if what I've heard is true, fans of the Xbox 360 era JRPGs will have something to look forward to at the showcase. Jez Corden recently made a big predictions post around the showcase and follows this up by saying, I've heard about some nostalgic announcements that should chase away the blues for classic Xbox 360 RPG fans. And as far as Xbox 360 JRPGs go, there's really two major options here that many fans are speculating about, that being either Lost Odyssey or Blue Dragon. All this new leaks about an Xbox 360 JRPG being at the showcase really just came to light in the past 24 hours. So many users immediately started to draw connections to this 4chan leak, which is now several weeks old. And on that leak, rather randomly in fact, it does mention a Lost Odyssey remaster as being one of the announcements at the showcase. Not many people were making this prediction before the 4chan post, and now we may have several very reputable insiders backing it up. So does that mean this leak's true? Are we actually going to also get a Fallout 3 remaster in October? Unfortunately, almost certainly not, as many have further suggested that no, it's not actually going to be a Lost Odyssey, but instead it will be a Blue Dragon remaster. In Jez Corden's report, he says that the announcement will chase away the blues for classic Xbox 360 RPG fans, many presuming the blues is a reference to Blue Dragon, and in a now deleted tweet, reputable insider Nate the Hate posted a gif of a Blue Dragon. But some of the recent leaks and rumors from Xbox insiders do seem to suggest that this FTC leaked roadmap for Bethesda may end up becoming a lot more relevant at this year's summer showcase. Tom Warren, one of the most reputable Xbox insiders, reports that Microsoft is supposed to have a lot of games to show this year, more than the 2023 showcase, and we should expect to hear how the 2025 lineup is looking, with some launch dates for some anticipated Xbox games, with further comments suggesting that this showcase could be a legendary one. We heard from xCloud Tim Dog how this Xbox showcase was meant to be insane, and even just yesterday Jez Corden weighed in saying that the potential for this show to be remembered as one of Xbox's best events for raw gaming quality is incredibly high. So with all of that in mind, I think this roadmap suddenly becomes a lot more informative. As things stand, it seems like we're right around here on this roadmap. Lots of stuff was delayed due to the pandemic, so it has a roughly 2-year offset. But if you do apply a 2-year offset, it has been incredibly accurate otherwise. And yeah, we're going to talk about this one in a moment, don't worry. But with these rumors suggesting that we should expect to hear about a lot of games, including some 2025 games, the big one to look at here is Doom, with Doom 0 Year. We've had several signs pointing towards a new Doom reveal at this showcase. Of course, this leaked roadmap being a big one, but also in a recent article, Tom Warren ends by saying Microsoft will be banking on some new announcements lifting the Doom around Xbox. Italicized and capitalized, this seems to be a pretty clear indication that Doom will be at this showcase. That's even further backed up by a recent trademark filing by ZeniMax for IDKFA. This is a cheat code from the original Doom game, giving you full armor, all weapons, full ammo, and all keys. As far as I can tell, there is not a proper consensus on what IDKFA stands for. Some saying it's ID, keys, firearms, ammo, based off what using the command actually gives you, but considering Doom's past marketing, some others have speculated that it is, I don't know, fuck all, because you're using a cheat code to get a bunch of freebies. So barring a gigantic coincidence, it seems like this has to be Doom. And my assumption is IDKFA will end up being the naming of one of these DLCs, which you could also see on this leaked roadmap. So perhaps a launch bundle of DLC and the game both being shown at the showcase, hence the new trademark filing. This also makes me wonder if this new Doom game could be coming out this year as opposed to 2025, because otherwise, why are you announcing DLCs a full year before the game is even coming out? Although, with all of that in mind, Doom may very well end up becoming one of the most talked about games at this showcase, and not necessarily for good reasons. Over the last few months, we have heard from various insiders like Jez Corden how more Xbox games are going to other platforms. We of course saw this blow up earlier this year as Microsoft officially announced 4 games would be no longer exclusive to Xbox. And in a recent report from Jez Corden, they claimed that many more games could be coming to other platforms. The plan to move Xbox games to other platforms is codenamed Latitude internally. And I know there's debate and unease at Microsoft about whether or not this is a good idea. More upcoming Microsoft-owned games slated for PlayStation are already being developed. At least for now, they're potentially obvious games that you'd most likely expect, and yes, while it's true Microsoft is a prolific publisher on PlayStation already, it is typically revolved around specific franchises like Minecraft. From what I've heard, Microsoft is just pushing for no redline for what games could come to PlayStation, and it all revolves around Satya Nadella and CFO Amy Hood's mandate to increase every department's margins. To me, this just makes perfect sense and really isn't even that surprising. I said this a few months ago when the Starfield going to PlayStation rumors popped up because, yeah, Microsoft's strategy clearly isn't working, so they're trying new things, and one of those things is releasing their games elsewhere. In his most recent predictions report, Jez Corden speculates that we should be getting an update on that during the Xbox showcase period as well. Going on to say, I think an obvious example that we could see go multi-platform, as in Xbox Series X/S and PlayStation 5, would be the next Doom. I don't think this is necessarily a leak, but more so than anything else, an educated prediction, knowing some details, but perhaps not entirely sure if Doom on PlayStation is a lock. But Doom coming to PlayStation also really wouldn't shock me, and probably shouldn't shock you either. Xbox is clearly trending this way. Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, literally said he believes exclusives are going away. That's gotta start somewhere, and Doom does seem like a solid choice for that. And while I do kind of doubt we see this explicitly mentioned at the Xbox showcase, if it's happening, we'll likely learn about it right around the same time. So maybe they don't say it on stage at the showcase, but instead, as the store page goes live, you're like, oh, yeah, that's not only coming to Xbox, it's coming to PlayStation also. Or even from an interview with Xbox, perhaps at the Xbox Game Showcase Extended, which happens a few days after the main showcase. And in my opinion, if we really do get the reveal that Doom Year Zero is coming to PS5 day 1, that will almost certainly dominate the news around this event. But there are a few other games that could definitely pop up from this roadmap. Project Kestrel is the upcoming ZeniMax Online Studios MMO, and Project Platinum is that upcoming Blade game. Both of these games could end up being 2025 releases, but based off those comments by Tom Warren, we very likely could be hearing about them and maybe even getting release dates. Or hey, maybe it just ends up being this Oblivion remaster. I've covered this one to death at this point, so I will be brief, but it could be the single most promising surprise for this year. On July 30th, 2023, a Reddit user leaked a variety of games supposedly being worked on by Virtuous Games Paris. This user was claiming to be an ex-employee, but he was verified by the moderators as genuinely being an ex-employee. So right off the bat, this random Reddit post leak has a lot more going for it than the vast majority of other leaks out there. This user went on to claim that a project codenamed Alter was a remaster/remake of Oblivion, with there being ongoing discussions as to whether or not this could turn into a full-on remake. That due to the fact that this was being developed using a pairing system, so visuals and certain overhauls would be done by Unreal Engine 5, while much of the actual gameplay would be handled by Gamebryo, Oblivion's original engine. And yeah, this is the thing, other games have been remastered in exactly the same way and received glowing reviews as a result, and the anticipated release date for this one was either late 2024 or early 2025, depending on whether or not this became a full remake or just remained as a remaster. And this does make sense. Games using this dual engine style can go through and individually pick which system should be redone with the newer engine. So even though they are fairly far into development, potentially just a little over a year away from release, you could still be having those discussions about a full remake versus remaster because they're using the dual engine system and kind of can just pick and choose what to remake. And at the time we heard about this leak, we also heard from insider Nate Drake that there were talks of an Oblivion remaster being shopped around. So there, you have two completely distinct sources saying this is a thing, and each of those sources were fairly reputable, not just randoms. All of that happened in July of 2023, but about 6 weeks later in September, we got this roadmap leak from the FTC trial, and this too had an Oblivion remaster listed on it for fiscal year 2022, which thanks to delays would work out to right around right now. You can also see Indiana Jones and the Starfield DLC listed here, and those are of course actually slated for this year, so it would follow that the same could be true for this Oblivion Remaster, a 2024 release date. So what's crazy is that original dual engine leak sounds, we've now had 3 reputable sources, one of which was literally Microsoft, claim that an Oblivion Remaster is at least being talked about, planned, or being worked on at some point. There's been so much Fallout hype as of late that I think this one kind of just fell into the background, but I think this is incredibly likely to pop up at the showcase, and based off that Reddit leak, which only got more reliable as more leaks continued to back it up, we definitely could be seeing an Oblivion Remaster in 2024. With the Fallout hype, I could totally see this one getting pushed though. Perhaps they pursue a more proper remake, and a perfect release date is just sitting there with March 20th as the 19-year anniversary for Oblivion. And if this does get pushed to next year, that may even mean we don't hear about it anytime soon. While a reveal at the summer showcase is promising, we have heard how Todd Howard loves those short announcement to reveal cycles, and they could absolutely do this. Reveal an Oblivion remake at the developer direct at the end of January, and have it released to everyone just 6 weeks later in March. That would definitely get fans going wild. But one way or another, next year we are getting an Oblivion remake as the Skyblivion project, where fans are remaking Oblivion in Skyrim's engine, also has a 2025 release date, and their most recent update video looks absolutely spectacular. If the official remake from Bethesda drops just a few months before this mod, which has over 5 years of dev time on it, that would probably be the biggest travesty in modding history, so I really hope that doesn't happen. But hey, one way or another, you're going to be playing the Oblivion remake sometime soon. Starfield will of course be at this showcase. Todd Howard confirmed as much himself when we did hear from Tom Warren that the Shattered Space DLC is dropping in September. We know that Shattered Space is going to be a House of Rune themed DLC. We saw this confirmed in a recent behind the scenes video, but Starfield mods should also be dropping right around the same time as the summer showcase. Last year, Bethesda opened up their verified creator program for Skyrim. Join and you could create and list mods on Bethesda's marketplace. This is a revenue share system, so every unit sold, the authors will get a cut, and Bethesda takes a cut for themselves as well. This is coming to Starfield, and verified creators got access to the Starfield creation kit early. From what I've heard, this happened around early February, so by the time of the showcase when mods actually drop, it'll be around 3 to 4 months that many of these authors had access to these tools. So in all likelihood, around the showcase, we'll get to see a preview of some free and paid mods that are coming to Starfield, and we'll likely see the official mod tools drop for everyone. And we definitely could see quite a few mods here. Over the past few months, and likely in anticipation for the Starfield release, Bethesda has been seriously expanding their verified creator program, and from what I've heard, dozens of additional mod authors have been invited to work on content for this one. We just recently saw that Bethesda invited many of these verified creators to their offices, and this is just a really cool gesture by Bethesda. The modders were able to talk to a bunch of Bethesda Game Studios devs and even able to discuss their own projects with the BGS devs. So they could talk about their upcoming creation with a dev that actually worked on the game. Bethesda is looking to do more of this in the future, and overall it just seems like a great inclusion. Regardless of your own feelings on paid mods, I think pretty much all of us can agree it's great to see mod authors getting more opportunities to make money from their work, and I love that Bethesda is properly recognizing how invaluable these creators are. Although beyond that, we have seen some minor details leak or even just release date leaks around a variety of other titles from Tom Warren at The Verge. He claims that Avowed will drop in November, with Indiana Jones following it up in December, both likely to get new gameplay and a release date announcement during the showcase. And in this predictions article from just yesterday, Jez Corden reports that Avowed is shaping up nicely. I've heard the latest build looks a lot more impressive than its previous reveal, and that definitely gives me hope. The Avowed gameplay that we got last summer during the showcase was okay, but it definitely gave me Sea of Thieves vibes, and I think turned a lot of people off of the game. While conversely, some of the gameplay we saw earlier this year at the Developer Direct actually looked a lot better and definitely got me a lot more excited for the game. If things have only continued to improve from them and perhaps even implemented more of the feedback from the community, it definitely makes me excited for whatever we see of Avowed at the summer showcase. We have seen several notable insiders come forward to confirm that Call of Duty is coming to Game Pass, and to go along with that, changes should be coming to the Game Pass program. This likely being a price increase, but there also could potentially be a cheaper ad-supported Game Pass tier like many streaming services offer. You have to imagine at least part of this news will be revealed at this showcase, like Call of Duty coming to Game Pass day one. Earlier today, they revealed that the next Call of Duty will in fact be Black Ops 6, but perhaps at the showcase they only reveal the positive parts and the price hike news comes later in a press release. and there are a variety of other games that have gotten mentions from insiders as likely being a part of the showcase. Perfect Dark, which according to Nate the Hate will be at the showcase, and according to Jez Corden, the game is shaping up nicely, or even a new Gears of War game, which The Verge reports will be announced at the showcase, and potentially even along with a remaster of Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, which has also been rumored. Gears 6 specifically has been mentioned by several different sources, so it seems to be the likely candidate to be at the showcase, while the remaster is a bit less likely. And in his most recent report, Jez Corden mentions how Microsoft have also landed marketing deals for some major upcoming third-party titles too, with at least one gameplay debut that may bring solace to one weary fanbase. Honestly, not entirely sure what this could be, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. A weary fanbase is sadly very unspecific these days. And overall, more so than anything else, I'm curious to see how this showcase lands. We've heard from several insiders how they really seem to be stacking this one up. Lots of games, release dates for a ton of different titles, larger looks at even further out games, and I think overall Xbox wants this showcase to really win back some fan support, so they'll likely be pulling out all of the stops they can to get that. But it's likely because they need to. You have to imagine Game Pass price increases and certain games going multi-platform will also be announced at least around the same time of the showcase, if not at the showcase directly. And that'll likely lead to a bunch of negative sentiment from fans, even if many of the games themselves look amazing. So time will tell, but get subscribed because I'll definitely be keeping you up to date with all of this, but also check out this video to see what lays ahead for Fallout 76.